Hi friends, please subscribe and like my channel.
Hello, everyone on this platform. My name is Daniel Harper, and I'm 56 years old now. If you'd told me 8 years ago that I'd be sharing this, not for pity, not for resolution, but just to unburden my heart, I'd have chuckled in disbelief. I once thought time could mend any wound. It doesn't. Sometimes it only reveals who truly mattered. 8 years ago, I endured a painful divorce from my wife, Laura. We'd been married for over 2 decades. She was 46 then, and I was 48. We had a daughter, Sophie, who was 20 when our marriage fell apart. When the split happened, Sophie didn't waver. She chose her mother's side, not mine. She blocked my phone number, refused to talk, and her final words to me before cutting contact were, "Mom told me all I need to know about you." I tried reaching out, calling, texting, even sending emails. Once, I waited outside her university residence for hours, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. She called campus security. The message was unmistakable. "Keep away." I was devastated. It wasn't just the divorce. It was the sudden erasure of the one person I thought would at least ask for my side. But she didn't. No questions. No chance for my truth. Just silence. Laura had crafted a flawless story, painting me as the distant, self-absorbed husband, too consumed by my construction business to care for my family. And yes, I worked long hours. I was the sole breadwinner. Laura stayed home, raising Sophie, and I was proud to provide them with that life. But when tensions grew and arguments erupted, Laura found it easy to turn Sophie against me. She controlled the narrative, and I was cast as the villain. No discussion, no defense, just judgment. For 8 years, I carried that weight. I threw myself into work and cared for my mother, who was fading into Alzheimer's. She passed away a year ago, my last remaining family. At her funeral, standing alone by her grave, it struck me. I had no one, no hand on my shoulder, no family, no daughter. So when my phone rang 2 months ago and a tentative voice said, "Hi, Dad," I nearly dropped it. It was Sophie. I hadn't heard her voice in almost a decade, and it sounded unfamiliar. Older, softer, more cautious. She mentioned seeing an online post about her grandmother's passing and wanted to check on me. I was floored. I didn't even know she kept tabs on my life. I thanked her for calling and told her I missed her more than words could express. She suggested meeting to talk, and we settled on dinner at my place the following Saturday. I cleaned my house like it was being inspected, cooked her favorite meal, shrimp linguine, and even placed flowers on the dining table, not for her, but to make it seem like I still had a life with people in it. She arrived on time, and when I opened the door, seeing her after 8 years, felt like time folded in on itself. She resembled her mother, but traces of the little girl I used to carry on my shoulders flickered in her face. I swallowed my tears and hugged her. Dinner was pleasant but cautious, like 2 acquaintances catching up, not a father and daughter reuniting. Still, I was grateful for it. Then I asked the question that had burned in me for nearly a decade. "Why didn't you ever ask for my side?" She looked down and said softly, "I was afraid." Mom told me things and I believed her. I didn't know any better. I guess I didn't want to. She apologized, saying she felt ashamed and regretted everything. I wanted to believe her desperately, but something felt off. Then the conversation shifted. I asked why she reached out now. That's when she revealed it. She was engaged, and money was tight. She'd hoped lawyers would contact her about her grandmother's inheritance. When they didn't, she decided to call. I hid my reaction and nodded. She admitted feeling awkward asking, but mentioned that Grandma had promised her everything as the only grandchild. "Anything you can offer would help," she said with a nervous smile. "The wedding's going to be big." There it was, the sting of betrayal, slow and sharp. I'd dreamed of this reunion, of holding her again, of being her father again. But realizing I was just a means to an end broke something inside me. I told her the inheritance had gone to me years ago, that Grandma had changed her will, and that I planned to use the money to start a small carpentry business. I added that I'd give her a few thousand for the wedding from my own savings. Her expression crumbled. "That's it?" she said. "That's all I can offer," I replied. Her tone sharpened. "Grandma said I'd get everything. I was her only grandchild." "And you were the one who cut me off after the divorce," I said calmly. She grew angry. "You're proving everything Mom said about you." I laughed, a bitter edge to it. "And you're proving my fears about why you came back." She stood, flustered. "This is ridiculous. I came to reconnect and plan my future, and you're being selfish." "No," I said. "You came hoping for a payout." She stared, speechless. Then I said something that erased her feigned remorse. "If you hadn't blocked me all those years, you'd have seen my messages. You'd have known about Grandma's illness. You could have visited her one last time, and maybe she'd have kept her promise to you." She froze. "What messages?" she asked. "Unblock me," I said. She did, and I forwarded every message I'd sent. Pleased to talk, updates about her grandmother's condition, an invitation to say goodbye before the funeral. Silence followed. Then she whispered, "I didn't know." "You didn't want to," I said. We sat in silence. Then I stood. "I don't hate you, Sophie. I never could. But I don't trust you. And love without trust isn't love at all." She opened her mouth, but I raised my hand. "I spent 8 years missing you, grieving you, even though you were alive. I'm done grieving. I'm done waiting. And I'm done being a father to someone who only remembers me when money's involved." She left without another word, and I stood in my quiet house, alone again. But for the first time, at peace. 3 days later, my phone rang. A number I hadn't seen in years. Laura. I thought it was a mistake. I stared at her name flashing like a phantom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again the next morning, then that night. On the 4th call, I answered, not out of curiosity, but because I was tired of letting them control the narrative while I stayed silent. "Daniel?" Her voice was careful, almost gentle. "Can we talk?" I stayed silent. "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from." "You're right," I said. Silence. Then she took a breath. "Sophie came home upset. She told me what happened. I nearly hung up. I didn't want to relive it or hear Laura twist the truth again. But something urged me to listen, to end this chapter. She said you offered her money and she turned it down." I scoffed. "That's not how it went." She paused. "You're right. I know Sophie. I know when she's lying. But that's not why I'm calling." "Then why, Laura?" "I want to apologize." I froze. For a moment, I couldn't speak. 8 years too late, I said finally. "I know." Her voice broke. "I ruined completal. I wanted her to choose me. If she'd heard your side, she might have." "She would have," I said. "I never would have turned her against you." I leaned back, staring out my kitchen window at the swaying trees, just as I had the night Sophie visited. "The worst part wasn't the lies," I said, "or losing the house or half my savings. It was watching my daughter erase me like I never mattered, Like every bedtime story, every bandaged knee, every Christmas morning meant nothing. "I'm sorry, Daniel," Laura said softly. "I truly am." I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I just felt weary. "I begged her to see me," I said. "For years. You called it harassment. You threatened me with lawyers." "I know," she said. "That's what I regret most. I used her as a weapon. I didn't consider what it would cost her, or you, long term." I took a breath. "Why are you really calling? This can't just be guilt." She hesitated. "Sophie still thinks she deserves something. She believes your mother promised her everything." "She did," I said. "Before the divorce, before Sophie cut me off, before she ignored 8 years of messages and showed up expecting money." "I know she hurt you," Laura said, "but she's still your daughter." "No," I said calmly. "She's your daughter. You raised her to see me as a monster. And now you want me to fund her wedding to some guy who probably hasn't held a steady job." Laura was silent. "I offered her money," I added. "More than she deserved, after everything. But it wasn't about fairness. It was about seeing if any part of my little girl was left. There wasn't." "I don't want this to end like this," she said. "You'll regret it later." I laughed bitterly. "You think I haven't been regretting things for 8 years? Sophie asked me to talk to you, to tell you she's sorry. I twisted everything." "She already said that," I replied. "But sorry doesn't erase 8 years. It doesn't undo silence. It doesn't turn manipulation into love. She's still your blood." I walked to my mother's old oak cabinet, where Sophie used to hide during hide-and-seek. I stared at it. "You know what hurts most, Laura? I would have given her everything, not just money, but my time, my love, my forgiveness. I was waiting for her. But she came for the money, not me." "She misses you, Daniel." "No," I said. "She misses what I could provide." Silence stretched. "She's heartbroken," Laura said. "So was I replied. Then she said something unexpected. "I'm not asking for money for her. I just need to know, do you hate her?" "No," I said honestly. "But I don't know her anymore. And the woman I met last week? She doesn't love me. She loves what I represent. A missed chance, a financial fix, a name on a check." I sighed. "I'm done being needed only when it suits her." I ended the call. A letter arrived days later. No return address, just my name in familiar handwriting. Inside was a photo of Sophie at 5, perched on my shoulders, her pigtails bouncing, her smile wide. A note was attached. "I can't undo what I broke. Maybe I never will. But you were the best father I could have hoped for, and I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." No mention of money, no talk of the wedding, just that. I placed the photo on the mantel but didn't call her, not out of anger or spite, but because I finally understood. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Sometimes walking away is the only path to peace. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.